In this video, I'm going to be giving you 3 tips on how to remember what you learn on the guitar. So even if you're not a complete beginner, I'm going to be giving you tips on how to use the Cage system in ways that you might not know about. So stick around. Hi, I'm John David with Home Guitar Player, and I'm a guitar student, maybe just like you. And I try to practice and play every day. And every week, as I learn new things out there from my instructors that are helping me become a better guitar player, I come here and I make a video about it. So, if you're on that same path, then we can do this together. If you'll subscribe and click the bell down below, then every time that I come up with something new that helps me get better, you can get better too. All right. Tip number 1. As a beginner guitar player, the first thing that's going to help you remember what you learn on the guitar is to relate the fretboard to something that you may already understand. Just like most houses and buildings in the world around us have an internal framework, the guitar fretboard has an internal framework that's built into it that supports how music works and how music is made using the guitar. The best way to remember all of the licks and all of the scales and the chords and the songs and all that stuff, and it's a lot, that you're going to learn as a guitar player is to attach those things to a framework. That framework that's already built into the fretboard. Tip number 2. Part of the structure that I use is the Caged system, spelled C-A-G-E-D. The Caged system is a map of that internal structure, and it will show you where the notes are on the guitar. Let's take a look at the Cage system right here. So the Cage system starts in position number 1 for this example, and this is a repeating pattern. You can start on any chord, but let's start with the C. Right here, the C starts with a C down here and moves to an A. It goes C, that's my C shape, that's my A shape, that's my G shape, that's my E shape, and that's my D shape. So what the Cage system is showing us is where all of the C's are on the fretboard. Okay? So it's going to show us, here's a C, right here in this shape, here's a C, and here's a C. And that makes the C chord. And then that same C that we played right here is right here. Another C. And then as we move to the next one, here's another C. And then here's more C's. And then here's another C. So, once we know that the Cage system has a system built into it to help us find octaves, then we can use that same system to find thirds and fifths. And the Cage system becomes a structure that when we're learning a song, if it's in the key of A, then we know right off the bat that there's an A here and an A here, because that's using the E shape of the G-E-D, the Caged system, and back here and here. So that helps us find our A's. So the Caged system is not just a way to repeat a chord up and down the neck. It is a map of where the notes are. Tip number 3. Learn the pentatonic scale. The pentatonic scale is a 5-note scale that is found also in the Cage system and relates to the caged chord system. And it's a repeating pattern that moves up and down the fretboard also. And once you have the Cage system and the pentatonic system under your belt, then you'll be able to relate those things to many of the artists that are already out there. So let's talk about that piece that I played in the beginning, right? That's the intro to Mary Had a Little Lamb. Okay, well, that intro comes out of the key of E minor pentatonic scale. Okay, so that's how I remember it, and it's what helps me to be able to play it without having practiced it, and to pick it up and apply it to the fretboard because it relates to something that I already understand. So the minor pentatonic scale is this in the key of E. And that intro goes like this. So it's using these bottom strings in the minor pentatonic scale. And then he builds an E7 chord right there. Okay? So, understanding the framework and then being able to tie down all of the things that you learn to that framework is going to help you remember how things work, where they go, in what order, in what sequence, and it'll give you a solid foundation, a solid framework to hang the things that you learn onto. So when we bring that all together, those 3 tips, relating the fretboard to something you already understand, the framework. Number 2, learning the cage system. And number 3, learning the pentatonic scale is going to help you to attach the music, the scales, the licks, all of the things that you're going to learn to something solid, and that will help you remember. It's so much better than learning by shapes. When I learned in the beginning, I was learning just by what things look like on the guitar. You know, I would make an E shape, and then I'd make an A shape, and then I would move those things around. But I would forget the pattern of how things went together, and then I couldn't remember, you know, of course I didn't know what key it was. Of course I didn't know how the music actually worked or what scales to use, and nothing made any sense. But when I sat down and learned the cage system with my instructor Brian Sherrill over at Active Melody, and then I learned the pentatonic scale in all of its boxes, again, Brian helped me learn that, then that's when things started to make sense. And now, as I learn pieces, it's so much easier for me to remember because I have this solid framework. So my recommendation is that you learn the cage system related to something that you understand, and that you learn the minor and the major pentatonic scale. That way, you're going to more easily remember the things that you learn on the guitar. All right, so I'm John David with Home Guitar Player, and I put out new content every week. And go ahead and subscribe down below and click the bell, and you'll be notified every time that I come out with something new to help you understand the guitar and learn the guitar and get better at becoming a guitar player. All right, until next time.